Head Harvester Bill Armin here on the West Coast. No, pretty close to West Coast. I'm in Phoenix, and oh my goodness, we're here at the Elevate. I'm in the booth with Rancho Mesa and Drew Garcia. What a treat.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Good.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, you bet. So let's talk about insurance. Let's talk about safety. There's so many pieces that you guys cover. So what's going on out there? What's happening? What's the trends you're seeing out there?
Yeah, I would say pain points right now for most maintenance companies is on the auto side, just in terms of premium and cost. And it can be a frustrating insurance market because without claims, people are still seeing increases. So they're looking for solutions and what can they do to try to minimize the impact, because some of the increases are almost unpalatable. And so yeah, we're out here trying to learn more about what's going on in the industry and what are some things that we can take back to help with the insurance side.
Well, let's go back to those pain points. So what would be some of those things you would suggest for some guys to alleviate the pain a little bit?
Well, we're seeing there's a lot of talk about dash cams out here right now. So the forward-facing, rear-facing dash cams, really to exonerate you in the issues where your driver's not at fault, but you don't have the proof and the ability to show that to the insurance carrier.
So you think that's important to have?
I think it's important to have. I think it is. I know it's costly. So the question that we commonly get is, hey, I'm going to invest in the dash cams. How much can I expect to save on my insurance, right? Because they're trying to
return on investment.
And it's more of a long-term play because for what we see with insurance is, I would imagine if somebody puts in that kind of system and then they manage that system so they get good driver behavior metrics that they can then help better train their drivers so they have better performance, in the long run you should see less claim activity, less severity, and ultimately probably more aggressive premiums.
So
from the underwriters.
dash cams would be one tip.
That'd be one tip.
So what's another tip for, now I brought this up at Breakfast of Champions this morning, what actions that clients are doing now with their truck drivers before they get in the truck? So what do you recommend in that area, Drew?
Training, yeah. Having training, having the content to train, super important. So you've got these $60,000, $70,000 trucks with a trailer and all the equipment on the back headed out to job sites with 3 to 4 employees. So I mean, that's when you think about exposure for landscaping, I would say that's probably the biggest piece.
Absolutely.
So we got to make sure that you have some sort of formal driver training, whether that's classes that you hold regularly, you're monitoring your GPSs and your dash cams if you have it, so that you can act on driver behavior. So you're better training those drivers to make more appropriate and sound decisions while they're out there, because it's a big deal.
It's a scary deal, it really is.
Yeah.
So are there any programs specifically for that, designated for driver training?
At Rancho Mesa right now, we've got a weekly tailgate that we send out every Thursday, and so that's 55 driver training specific to the light duty vehicle driver, because you look at the landscape industry, there might be some DOT, heavy trucks that they're driving for bringing equipment to and from job sites, but for the most part, it's the light duty truck with a trailer, and we want to make sure that we're providing the content specific to those exposures, so those drivers are trained up. And so every Thursday we send out a tailgate that's in English and Spanish, and then the fleet manager can then forward those on to their account managers or supervisors to then help train up the vehicle drivers.
So that is all specifically targeted for truck driving or training of driving?
Landscape truck driving, yeah. So
the whole thing, all 55?
55.
Talks.
So we're talking about, from things as far as where to park the vehicle at an HOA, at a multifamily facility. What should I consider if I'm parking along the roadways? What are some common things I need to do in terms of driving in low light? So when the guys are headed out in the morning and the visibility's not great, what are things that they should be considering? So topics ranging from behind the wheel to when you're parking and everything in between.
Yeah, maybe how to load the truck, so distribution of weight in the trailer.
Correct.
I know when I first started in the landscaping business, I had a trailer. I didn't know how to back it up. You steer this way, it goes the other way. I had to disengage it and restart over again. So it's not easy, right? If you haven't done it before.
I can vouch for that. I just went camping with my family, and my wife was my spotter out there.
There you go.
Yeah, and it didn't go well. Everything was good. We ended up getting the trailer in there, but I had more respect for the industry after that.
Super. So we got dash cams, we got training, got the 55 training lessons. Wow, we had a little conversation earlier in the green room, and let's talk about human interaction versus doing all this internet and online stuff. So share with me a little bit the differentiation at Rancho Mesa.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to do that, but really for us, it's being involved in the community. And I think a lot of people think direct community. So where I live in my town or my city, but for us, we're a part of the landscape community, and it's important for us to have a vested interest in that. And so we try to get as many events as we can to talk to people like you, because even though it might not directly relate to insurance, there's something that we can pick up from the greater community that ultimately we can take back to the drawing board and try to come up with things like driver, tailgate topics, so that we can solve issues that might be just related to risk and safety. So for us, it's landscape, it's tree care, and that's the lane that we stay down. And it's really important for us to continue to build those relationships and learn what's going on within the industry so that we can better support our customers.
Nothing better than that. So I think we just recently signed a client in Florida, and you had a great onboarding thing. You want to share a little bit about that onboarding process?
Yeah, absolutely. A big part of what we do when it comes to insurance, it can be transactional, right? I get my renewal policy, I see my insurance agent, and then in a year's time, they show back up, and we kind of go through that process. So what we try to do is, be a little bit more proactive in between those times, so that our clients are better engaged as to what's going on in the market, what are things that I can start to anticipate, so it's not so reactive. And it really gives us an opportunity throughout the year to kind of set up a service plan, make sure they're engaging and using the services that we have, like our tailgate topics, so that we can better be prepared when it comes time for renewal to have a better conversation about how that should look.
Excellent. And for those of you that are listening to us today, I had the pleasure of going to your office not too long ago. We went through the safety, security, asset protection, liability, all those functions of part of safety. Yeah. So those went pretty good, didn't they?
That was fantastic. Yeah, and you actually... that's where I'm educated, and you teach me more about the industry than I thought was there. We were talking about minimizing issues that happen on property, so that'd be like a community association that the landscape company maintains. When you've got a site hazard that could lead to somebody getting hurt, how is your crew notifying the account manager, and then how does that get notified to the property manager so that that issue could get resolved?
Yeah.
And that was super interesting. And we had 4 podcasts.
We
on that.
did, didn't we?
That was great.
That was good. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
So guys, great stuff here at Rancho Mesa. You guys are the best. I love that. The dash cam thing, the 55. I thought there was 52 weeks. You got overachievers.
Isn't there like a leap year?
Yeah,
or
you guys are overachievers, to say the least.
Yeah.
But thanks so much for sharing all those great ideas. Head Officer Bill on for the West Coast. This guy's from the West Coast too. Come out and see us down in San Diego, one of the nicest spots on the planet Earth. Now go out there and harvest your potential.